everyone, welcome back to the Integrity Botanicals YouTube channel. Today I am doing another foundation review, and today it is all about the VAPOUR Soft Focus Foundation. Now, I had some time over quarantine, as we all did. I really took the opportunity to play with a lot of makeup that maybe, sometimes when I'm working my day job, I have a hard time trying new makeup because imagine it being a disaster and then I have to like commit to that all day. So sometimes it's hard for me. I usually have to do it on my off days and it makes it a little bit harder to test the product. So I went all in on the VAPOUR foundations. They've rebranded. I mean, this was a while back now, but I was a creature of habit with my foundation. So I took the opportunity to try quite a few, and this was one of the very pleasant surprises. Now, since I've tried it last, they have released like, I don't know, like 10 new shades or something like that. So there are 19 shades total, which is seriously incredible. I'm going to share all of those shades with you, of course, but let's discuss the foundation a little bit first. So, packaging, per usual, looks a little something like this. The new VAPOUR packaging is beautiful. I love the colors that they've chosen. I have unintentionally matched with the cap here today. Funny how that works. But anyway, it is a pump foundation, which I love. You do need to shake well before use just to make sure everything is very well distributed. It is one of those foundations that if you let the product kind of settle in that little, the hole where the product comes out, it can be a little bit hard there, but I've never had an issue where it is blocked or it squirts out weird or anything like that. Just something to keep in mind. You will get that little piece that you kind of have to get rid of. Not something terribly offensive to me. So this is a $54 foundation, 19 shades like I said, and this is a cruelty-free formula. I do not believe it is vegan, so I'm gonna have full ingredients list for you down below. Now, something I wanna do when I'm doing foundation reviews is I have written down the claims of this foundation, and I sort of wanna share with you whether I agree, disagree, and then of course I will show you because there is a demonstration portion of this video as well. So this foundation claims to be have a flawless and subtle luminosity. Well, it absolutely does, and that is because it is a satin finish. So, in line with that, it does also claim to be best for normal to combination skin types. Now, I think that finish lends itself to those skin types because obviously normal skins can use just about everything. This very subtle satiny finish that they're talking about with that very subtle luminosity, it is a bit of a powdery finish. So if you have a very dry skin, mature skin, I don't think this would be the best foundation in their lineup. They do have two others that might be more well suited to you, and I have reviewed one of them. I'm going to link it down below, and then I still have to review the Velvet Glow, so I will bring that to you all as well. Anyways, I would say that's true. I have a more dry to normal skin type, but when I take care of my skin accordingly before I use this works wonderfully. Next claim is that it's easy to blend. That is also very true, and it's because it has though it's not terribly thin, the Velvet Glow foundation or Gressa Minimalist foundations, those are ones that almost go like onto the skin when you take a brush. This is a little bit more dense, a little bit more rich, but it still is very, very, very easy to apply, and I think that little bit thicker texture allows it to give you a pretty immediate medium coverage. Another claim that it has is that it is best for a medium to full coverage, and as I just said, that is very much true. I don't know quite about full. I feel like there are very few foundations that have a full sort of finish. This is very buildable. That is what I will say, and I'm going to share that with you in the demonstration portion of this video as well. I think when you initially apply it, any sort of surface redness, it will immediately make that disappear. I had like a little bit of a bug bite on my forehead. I needed to go in with a touch more concealer, but it did a general good job at evening everything out. When you do choose to build up this foundation, it doesn't sit, it doesn't settle, and most importantly, this foundation wears very, very nicely. Now, if you have more dry skin, something I like to do is actually take a mist to the face to almost expedite that process that happens when foundation's sitting on the skin. You know, when you have it on for like 30 minutes, an hour, it can look even better than when you first put it on. Spraying the skin when you have a more dry skin will expedite that look. Now, if you have a more oily skin, I do think this is gonna sit so beautifully on your skin because it's not at all drying, but it's definitely a more powdery, satiny, soft focus formula, as the name would suggest. Go in with a really nice powder. Any powder of your choosing should really do the trick. I would recommend, I think loose powders do a really good job at sort of doubling down at removing any excess shine. And then if you need to touch up throughout the day, that is where your pressed powders come in. All right, so those are the claims. I think the claims pretty much live up, which is really, really great, because sometimes I sort of think that though the claim may be true, it's not true for everyone, or it's true within reason, but all of those I would say are pretty bang on, and as usual I'm going to show you. But before I do, let's quickly run through the shades now, shall we? So we have the shade 090, we have the shade 100, we have the shade 110, we have the shade 112, and we have the shade 115. Those are gonna be our very lights to our more light shades. Then we have the shade 117, we have the shade 120, we have the shade 123, and we have the shade 125. Those are your more light to medium shades as well. Then we have the shade 130, we have the shade 133, we have the shade 135, we have the shade 140, and we have the shade 145. Those are going to be, of course, your more medium to your medium deeps. Then we have the shades 150, we have the shades 155, we have the shades 160, 165, and 170. So we are rounding out at 19 shades. That is really, really a nice change. Thank you so much to Vapour for including more shades. I think that was a fantastic move. Of course, I wish it was done sooner, but better late than never, especially because it's a wonderful foundation, and any opportunity to have more people indulge in that is incredible. So let's quickly go to the demonstration portion, and then I will sign off. All right, so per usual, I gotta stop talking about it and I gotta put this stuff on my face so you guys can see it. So as I already discussed, it is designed to be best for a normal to combination skin type. Mine leans a little bit more dry to normal, pretty normal right now, but I am gonna go in with the Vapour Essential Daily Primer, because this is just like a nice added bit of moisture that's not overly emollient, or it's gonna like break up the foundation. It's just a nice layer to put on right before foundation application, just to ensure that it sits the most nicely on the skin. So easy peasy, throw that stuff on. Now before I go in, I'm just gonna shake this guy up. Today I'm gonna be doing a mixture of 123 and 125, just because I am totally losing that summer tan, even though I said I wouldn't. But I am just gonna shake this up. We're gonna do, let's go one full pump. That's what one full pump looks like, of 123. And then I just have a sample here of 125. So I'm gonna take about half as much and do a little bit of a mixology situation right here. So there's that. So you can see I'm going for more of the like yellowy, both of these have a more yellowy undertone. I usually tend to go for a more neutral to yellow undertone. I can handle quite a heavy yellow undertone, which this definitely has, because I have an olive complexion as well. So I'm just kind of putting a light bit of this on the skin. And then I am today going to go in with the Vapour foundation brush. I really enjoy this for both this foundation and the Velvet Glow foundation, which I'll review for you here shortly. But I do also have my damp Hint beauty sponge, just because I always like to go over with a damp beauty sponge. I think it just looks the best on the skin when you kind of double down. So I'm just gonna take this. This does say it is designed to have a medium to full coverage. I would say that's pretty true. Right out the gate, you get a really nice medium. I had almost like a bug bite on my head prior to applying this, so that took away that redness. I get a little bit of red around the center of my face as well. Blends in pretty easily. It's not quite as serum-y as the Velvet Glow foundation, if you're familiar with that, or if you're familiar with the Gressa, that's similar to that as well. But you can see it really glides on the skin very, very evenly, number one, quickly, smoothly. And that's what I really enjoy about this. So I'm just gonna take this like that. And then I will go in with my sponge just to kind of boop, 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 boop. Now, because it is a medium, though it is buildable, they claim that you should build it up in layers if that's what you would like to do. I like that it's not overly greasy on the skin, the Velvet Glow, because it's more serum-y based. It does have a more slick look to the skin. You can see that this definitely has that subtle luminosity that it claims to have. It's very soft focus, as the name would suggest as well. So I'm gonna build it up in the center of my face. This is always where I need a touch more coverage. All of these areas right here on the cheeks and everything, I'm very, very happy with how that looks. So I'm just gonna go back with the brush. The brush is also the best way to build up any sort of desired coverage. So if you're really looking to crank this up a notch, of course, layer it up and use a brush for the most full coverage result. I do have to say, I'm really impressed with the mixture of those two shades. That is a really bang on shade match for me. It looks really good with my neck. I'm a little bit more blown out here in the camera because I do have this ring light here in front of me, but in real life it is looking really, really, really good. So I'm gonna finish buffing this in. I'm just gonna do a once over, take the sponge for a once over, and I'm gonna pull you in even closer so you can see exactly how this is sitting on my skin, because that's the good stuff, right? So nice and tight, nice and uncomfortably close. Obviously I do not have anything underneath my eyes, so please excuse that, but look at how pretty this is. It is it feels weightless. It feels powdery. I feel a little light here on my chin, which is where I really kind of built up the product. I have not used any powder. I probably would not go in without any powder since I do have a more dry skin as well. But if you have a more oily skin, something like one of the Lily Lolo pressed powders, something that's really good for oil control, would be a really nice option here. Bamboo Blur from 100% Pure, also really nice. There's no redness peering through, although I still probably would go with a little bit of concealer right here. Probably just kind of take it down in that manner, but I'm good on my chin. I might do a touch right there where I kind of have that bug bite, but that's a little bit relentless. But just look at how pretty that's sitting on my skin. Mind you, I have a more dry complexion as well. It is more dry to normal, but that's why the powdery finish is best for a more normal to oily complexion, because normal skin could technically use anything, right? But please notice how it's not collecting around the nose. That is an area that I struggle with even on foundations that I love. It's just kind of something I make peace with. Chin tends to be a drier area right here as well, not collecting there. And the best part about this is that it wears nicely throughout the day. Obviously, if you have more oily skin, I'd say go ahead and powder it. But for me, this is a perfect finish that is so skin-like, subtle, and satiny that when my oils start to peer through, it even looks better to me because I like a more luminous finish as someone who has a little bit more of a dry skin. So I hope that you found this demonstration portion helpful. This is actually one of my more favorite Vapor foundation formulations, and this one I only grew to love during the quarantine. So quarantine, you know, good for something, made me fall in love with a foundation that I probably wouldn't. The description of it doesn't do it for me, and that's always why I like to share it with you here on camera. So this is a really, really good one. Again, I hope that you found this demonstration portion helpful. All right, everyone, that is it. We came, we saw, we applied foundation. I can't believe what a big fan I am of this. I'm usually not a more matte finish type of gal. You know that about me. But like I said, I was happy I took the time during quarantine to sort of experiment a little bit more. Though RMS is still my #1 all-time favorite, I'm now mixing some different foundations into the bunch, and please let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you need tips on applying this product. I think I shared a lot of them with you. As a more dry skin, a more moisturizing primer is fantastic. Of course, I did all of my skincare before I applied this as well. That most certainly helps. And again, it's definitely for a more normal to oily combo skin, so keep that in mind when you're purchasing this foundation. I'm going to include swatch photos of every single shade that I discussed here down below so you guys can check it out. I know that you find those helpful. I believe that we offer samples of this, so if we do, I'm going to have links to that down below as well, so you can check that out in advance. I know that's always super helpful. But please reach out to me in the comments. I'm wearing more Vapor mascara on, which I love, lip products. I've reviewed the rebranding so at length, so any existing Vapor reviews that I have, if you are curious, or some more helpful foundation reviews of other brands, I'm going to include those down below as well. I'm going to try to make some playlists. I know there's so many videos on the channel now that might be helpful. So let me know what you think about that. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the love and support. I appreciate it more than you will ever know. Ingredients list, products, swatches, our social media, everything that you need. But please, before you go, thumbs this video up and subscribe. I upload new videos here twice weekly. Let me know what foundation you would like to see reviewed here on the channel next. And again, thank you so very much, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye!